Yeah, so that was actually that idea was birthed in me in college, actually, on a bus ride to a game. You can tell where my mind was.
Basically.
So, yeah, so we sitting with my roommate and stuff, and then just really getting close to God, like really intentionally on my own, like taking those steps. That really opened me up to like knowing I'm created by a creator. So why am I not creating?
Whoa. Say that again. I'm created by a creator. So why am I not creating?
Yeah. And then Darren Roberts, he was one of those guys, one of those men that taught me.
What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go. What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D, Mr. Double Down on You, and we got another episode of Black Fathers Now. And yo, dig this, man. We got a young brother, man. We got this young stud that's on the show that's going to do his thing. He's going to talk about his thing, but he's really got a lot going on, and I really felt the need to share with the Black Fathers Now family the life, the story, and the journey of my man, Kaymon Farmer. Now, he's a young brother, man. He's a millennial, but he's married. He's a young brother who's married. He's a millennial that's married. We don't always hear that in the same sentence, but he's actually building something based upon that particular experience that's going to inspire other millennials that are kind of in his same realm. But he's an entrepreneur. He's in the tech startup space. He's created this youth event called Unlock the Block in his native East Texas that he's going to share a little bit about. He's a record-holding college football or former college football player. He can talk a little bit about that later on too. But this brother's got a lot going on. He's really dynamic, and he and I connected actually about 2 years ago, and built a relationship. And I've learned so much from him, and hopefully he's gained a little something from me. And but long story short, this friendship has been really amazing, and I just felt the need to put this thing on display for the world to kind of peek into some of the conversations that we have. So, fellas in the Black Fathers Now family, let's welcome my man, Kaymon Farmer. What's up, brother?
Man, what's going on, man?
Oh, that's all you can say. Look, cool breeze. What's going on?
Yeah, it's definitely what it is. It's another day of greatness on this end. And like I mentioned, to you, I'm just looking forward to just hopping on the podcast, spreading some value. Thank you for allowing me to be on here, and even bringing awareness to anything I got going, it's definitely a gain. So, I'm very thankful for that. And so, yeah, man, a little bit about myself. I was born out here.
Well, hold up. I ain't even asked you about yourself yet. See, you jumping the gun because you done listened to a couple episodes, but you skipped an important part. An important part of the Black Fathers Now format is to give shout outs. So before we get into you, let's get into a little bit of those around you that help you to become who you are. So give some shout outs, my man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Shout out to my wife, my mom, my family, my dad. I'm going to see him tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, awesome. Makes a difference. It really do. It really do. Also, my cousin, mentor, strength and conditioning coach in college. Like, a lot of people, had a lot to do with my growth, and I'm very thankful to say that. And so I'm glad you stopped me in my tracks, because I believe as I continue to progress, and one of the reasons why I continue to progress at the rate I'm doing so is because I'm listening to people, and I'm taking in, and I'm gaining that wisdom. Gaining the knowledge, the experience brings the wisdom. And so, just really being tapped into that mindset of like, you can't do this on your own, like ain't no self-mades. So I greatly appreciate you stopping me in my tracks for that.
Dude, man, I'm going to tell you, and it's such a powerful thing to hear you say it that way, and to really take a step back and really acknowledge that we are basically the result of all those that have come before us. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, right? And the other part to it is we can't do anything by ourselves, because nothing great was ever created in isolation or on an island. And so to your point, if you can really embody that early and really understand that, look, it's not me, it's me and my team, it's me and us, it's all of us. You know what I'm saying? When we can start to embody that, I think we all collectively and individually grow and go a lot further than we would have otherwise. So kudos to you for recognizing that, young brother.
Appreciate that. And I really love the art that you got back there too, man. I'm looking forward to going to the safari.
Yo, man, dude, I'm gonna tell you, dude, this is we actually got this. It was like some furniture store going out of sale, and long story short, they had these pictures and everything was like 90% off in the store. So all the stuff was gone. I had to go take a leak. So I was in the bathroom. These two pictures were hanging on the wall in the bathroom, and I was like, yo, hey, can we get those pictures? So the dude walked in the bathroom and was like, you want them? I was like, heck yeah. So he pulled them off the wall in the bathroom, and now they're hanging on the wall at our crib. So dig that.
Nah, I love it, man. I do.
I appreciate you, man. Now, let's jump into your origin story. So take us back, man. You're originally from East Texas, man.
Most definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Talk to us a little bit about growing up and, you know, some of your inspirations, family life, all of that, and what really led you to where you are today.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I know being from East Texas, you're definitely proud to be from East Texas. I would say that. When I was instantly born, I was born in Dallas. Then we was in East Texas. But it was like right before I was 1 year old. Mm-hmm. And so like I was instantly born like at risk because my mom and dad weren't together. And so, yeah, that, you know, that's how I started out. And I had a stepfather, you know, pretty much that was in the household. And just growing up, man, my inspiration in East Texas was, you know, drug dealers at times. It was people that was successful as an athlete. And also it was teachers. Like I found a lot of inspiration from teachers, like in a small town, Pittsburgh, Texas. Mm-hmm. And so being from a real small town, you know so many people. You just, you know, feel that love everywhere you go pretty much. But also it's a lot of drama. So, you know, you're definitely involved in a lot of drama. And it may not even be your drama. It may be like drama 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from, you know, back then that you were born into. And so no excuses or anything like that. It's just the fact that, like, I'm aware of these type of things. And so it's like Pittsburgh raised me to be somebody that know that every action, every step that I make is going to affect the next generations to come. And so, like, just being aware of that. So really a timeline of really what went down in Pittsburgh, you know, freshman year, my house was raided, you know, by the feds. So that was definitely a turning point as far as in my life of seeing that, you know, as a father, like, your actions, like, matter. Like, somebody's always watching you, and not just watching you, but it's going to affect your family's life as well, especially if you're under the same household. And so I really love Pittsburgh in that sense, to where it definitely did help me out, like, as a future father, future leader of my family whenever kids come as well. So hold on, go back. So you said your freshman year in high school, you know, you all's house was raided, right? And and it was interesting. Before that, you mentioned like inspirations in the area growing up, kind of small town USA. I'm from Augusta, Georgia, and Augusta, Georgia is kind of a small town as well. I mean, it's probably a little bit bigger than Pittsburgh, Texas, but probably not too much bigger. And you have the same influences or whatnot, depending on, you know, I guess your family structure and all. But you mentioned teachers, drug dealers, and athletes, right? Teachers, drug dealers, and athletes. Quite interesting. Like, that's an interesting combo. But then you also mentioned the love and the drama. So like small town USA, the love and the drama, whether it's yours or whether it's somebody else's. And the love part of it is interesting because small town USA, or being in a small environment or growing up in a small town, you kind of have that village feel. You know what I'm saying? So as you mentioned, love is not just your nuclear family love. It's like the neighbor and the cousin around the corner and, you know, all these different folks. You have that love, and it's a different type of love because it's such a tight-knit, closed-off thing, right? But on the flip side, the drama is the same way too, because you seem to be connected to every piece of drama because it's a small town. The stuff is not compartmentalized. It's like this drama is everybody's drama. So it was interesting you brought that up, but then you brought back the fact that, you know, in the ninth grade or in your freshman year in high school, you all's house was raided. So with that particular situation or that particular circumstance,
how did that instance itself, kind of rest inside of you? And how did that either inspire you to go one way or another with your life?
Man, that whole entire morning, I was confused. Like, I was really confused in my life at that point, for real, because like it happened out of nowhere, man. Like it was just one of those like instant, the sudden changes is what we call it at Southeastern. It was a sudden change to where I still had to go throughout my life, throughout my day. And what I mean by that is I had to go to school that same day. And as a small town kid, like everybody in the school
knew what was
like
up.
They knew what was up.
How did you how did you deal with that in school? Like everybody knew what was popping, everybody knew what happened. You walking through school, they're like, damn, Kaymon, dog, we saw the cops down at your crib. The boys jumped out. What's happening? How did that impact you?
I was just really confused. And like that morning, I'm glad I had worked out. And working out really, it lets off a lot of steam because we had off season that day. And so I was working out, bro, and I was going hard, and I just remember I just like burst out in tears in front of like the whole team. Like I was just I was holding it in, but it was like just something came over me to just let it out. And so as I let it out, it was like, it made it a little better. And like, I didn't really too much care what people thought, honestly, because they weren't going to say it. Because, just out of respect, like a lot of people, we had respect for each other. And so they knew what was up to where people were still there. And so I just still had to go throughout my day. And sports, man, sports saves. Like really, really like sports. I had workouts that morning, had to go through school. I handled that well. Teachers, security guards, principals, they're talking to me, just, comforting me. And then later on that night, we had a basketball game. So just really, playing basketball, just going through it, and just, still wanting to excel at what I was doing. I think that came upon me, man. Just let it out and just keep riding. It's just, the mindset I've had towards life.
So basically, let it out and keep riding. Let it out and keep riding. Now, that's actually an interesting concept because, when we think about like the notion of like therapy and we think about the notion of, coping mechanisms and all of that, you mentioned that sports kind of saved you because sports gave you an outlet to kind of let it out. But then you were motivated to keep it riding. You know what I'm saying? So you were motivated to go and do something different because it seems like that was not something that you ever wanted repeated, nor is that ever something that you want to be the cause of happening to your family as you grow up and as you go through things in your life, correct?
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah, most definitely.
Let it out and keep riding. I mean, I think that's so interesting because, this is Black Fathers Now, and the tagline for Black Fathers Now is bringing the village to the brothers, right? So you bring the village to the brothers in the form of insight, inspiration, and wisdom. And the whole concept of let it out and keep riding is extremely important because as Black men, we have so much on our shoulders. We have so much that we deal with, so much trauma and drama, even like you mentioned earlier, love and drama, being in a small city. We have so much of that inside of us. And I think some of our issues stem from the fact that we're basically like this combustible thing that's about to blow up because we've yet to let it out.
That's true.
It's interesting that you mentioned the whole concept, let it out and keep riding. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's powerful, man.
That's very true. And I mean, that just goes back to one of the most tragic and the most impactful event that ever has happened in humankind, and that's slavery. Like, just being behind, like, and, a lot of Black fathers not being in those households, that takes away from that son. I was just talking to one of my Southeastern friends, Southeastern brothers. He was cutting my hair, and he was just talking about how, his son not having both of his parents under one roof, like the impact of that. He was saying that the teacher, has, really examined this child, and she's an expert at what she do, is what he was, solidifying and saying that, he felt neglected, so that's just one way that a kid is affected, but, just holding it in and then just, not having that love during that drama, you're going to, go off and start doing things that may not be as effective if you were to have that village.
Not having the love in the midst of the drama. Oh, wow. That, because that in itself is actually powerful as well. By not having the love in the midst of the drama, then makes it harder because then you don't feel comfortable letting it out. You see what I'm saying? And I think that goes, again, as we speak, we're speaking to Black men. I know we got other people listening. We got women. We got folks of different backgrounds and all. This is informational for everyone, but we're speaking directly to the Black male experience. Not having that love in the midst of the drama makes it hard for you to want to let it out. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think about any scenario that I've ever dealt with or drama or whatever. It's like you hold it in. And I think a lot of us hold it in because we don't realize that there is love around us. And if we show others that, look, you got a support system, you got love, you got this village around you, it's okay to let it out. It makes life a hell of a lot better. But we got to get to a point, fellas, Black fathers as well. We got to get to a point in which we let it out.
I agree. I definitely agree. And also, as an educator, I instantly take that problem and I try to find a solution to where we can break it down to where people can be proactive in letting it out. And I think that's what definitely led me into a lot of the ventures that we have going right now. Just, really wanting to break down the educational aspect of it to where people can consume it and then apply it, and then see the results, and they're analyzing that and building that confidence, which breeds even more success.
Dope. I'm digging that, man. And it's just, again, fellas, I want you to pay attention. The concept, let it out and keep riding. And, so Kaymon mentioned the concept of letting it out. And now as he kept riding, so to speak, down his particular journey, he finished high school and then you went on and you keep referencing Southeastern. So you went and played football in college, correct?
Oh, indeed. I actually went in as a walk-on. I entered my college career as a walk-on.
Now, where did you go?
Southeastern Oklahoma State University. I had tried out. That's where the mentor, my strength and conditioning coach, my first cousin, Sean Cooper, that's where he went. And he spoke with the head coach. And that taught me connections out the gate. Like, once you get out of that town, you got to have connections to really, make it happen wherever you go. And so he was that connection to give me that shot. And I had to still go prove, that I was worthy of being on that team. And so once I got that chance, it was like, I'm very thankful for this opportunity. And that's what really drove me as well, just having that opportunity and making it paradise wherever I was at. And so that's what they taught us in that program, and they taught us so much. A lot of great men, in that program, a lot of great faculty at the school. Also a lot of people in the community that just, they love people that come in and want to add value to their community. So
you said you mentioned the concept of connection. And so, I'm a big proponent of, it's not what you know or who you know, it's who knows you, right? So the power of actual connecting, the power of relationships. But then you also mentioned the fact that, you had to walk on, right? So that means you had to make the most of this opportunity that somebody opened the door to. And again, as we think about connections, people think connections are supposed to just hand you something and you're supposed to go forward with it. Connections sometimes just crack the door open. It's incumbent upon you to then open the door, to go in and then perform when you get there. And and the thing that's so powerful about that, performing is exactly what you did. So you went from a walk-on to what? Name some of the accolades that you ended up finishing with at Southeast Oklahoma State University.
So we started as a walk-on the first year. I would like to tell that a little bit. So that first game, I was number 2 on the depth chart. I had a senior in front of me. The second possession of the first game, that senior blew out his ACL. So the first game, I was really starting from then on throughout my career. So the first season, I had broke the receptions record for the school. Then throughout my career, for the 4 years, I broke 2 more records, the conference all-time receptions, and then the most receptions in the season at Southeastern as well. And so really, man, that was definitely a great platform to utilize, but also the campus. Like, I graduated in 3 years with my bachelor's in occupational health and safety. So not only were, performing on the football field, but I, took it serious in the classroom as well. and also in the community. And that's where I have really a lot of great stories as far as like connections and having that village and that network. Most of us was really involved in the community. And I say like athletes taking initiatives towards creating nonprofit organizations and spreading value that way, not only to the campus, but also the community. So we did that. And it was a great experience to be able to, be around the community that was like really collectively, wanting to grow, intentionally grow. We didn't have it all figured out, obviously, but, it was still like, it was a great journey to where it has catapulted us to where we are today. And so just having those accolades, and then also in the community, I was on the All-State Good Works team. I was one of 24 out of the U.S. that was spotlighted on that team with guys like Tim Tebow, Colt McCoy, Rhodes Scholar, Colin Moore, those type of leaders. That showed me so much. To be a part of them and have that week with them. It just showed me like you can really like transform your entire life just by meeting someone.
Whoa! Stop there. You can transform your entire life just by meeting someone.
Mm-hmm.
That's, and it's interesting, the concept of meeting someone, because we can't omit how we actually connected, and that's through meeting someone. So True. Long story short, it's funny. I interviewed a brother. I'll put his episode in the show notes, but I interviewed a brother probably about a year and a half ago named Darren Roberts. And Darren Roberts is a really dynamic brother, former NFL college coach, speaker. He's a transitions coach. I mean, he does all this stuff, man, like really an author, best-selling author. And I was doing my due diligence before our interview, and on one of the web pages, I came across, I think it was an image of you signing a book at one of his football camp. And so I was like, who is this? So I ended up doing a little bit of looking, and I was just like, Kaymon Farmer, interesting. So I ended up reaching out to you after seeing you connected to Darren by doing my research from Darren. And then you and I built a relationship, and here we are almost 2 years later talking on the podcast. So again, it goes back to that concept of connections, right?
The power of connections.
The power of connections. And so, and speaking of connections, you've done different things, but then you're also in the business of creating things. And so you kind of led into it a little bit, with the Southeastern Oklahoma State community. In that community, you started creating the Unlock the Block, this nonprofit venture that it basically is just to inspire kids and all of that. Talk a little bit about that, man. What was that? What was that whole Unlock the Block joint?
Yeah, so that was actually that idea was birthed in me in college, actually, on a bus ride to a game. You can tell where my mind was.
Basically.
Yeah, so we sitting with my roommate and stuff, and then just really getting close to God, like really intentionally on my own, like, taking those steps. That really opened me up to like knowing I'm created by a creator, so why am I not creating?
Whoa. Say that again. I'm created by a creator, so why am I not creating?
Yeah, and then Darren Roberts, he was one of those guys, one of those men that taught me that. Actually, I seen one of his posts. So it just shows the power of connections when you're consuming content like that, man. Like it's really difficult not to grow. It really is, especially if you've touched early success in your life. And, like I said, my freshman year, I broke a record. Like, that's success from a walk-on to that.
As I was about to say, after being a walk-on, after somebody having to open up the window and vouch for you to get an opportunity, you then stepped in and broke a record. Fellas, marinate on that for a second. Literally, after somebody had to negotiate and get him an opportunity, he then had to prove himself. And then when given the opportunity, he went and broke a record. Think about that. It might not make sense. But you have to walk on your path, or walk the path that is designed or destined for you in life, because at the end of the day, it might not be a scholarship up front, but somebody is negotiating on your behalf to get you an opportunity. So when you get that opportunity, you perform because there are records that you are destined to break that need to be broken.
That's real.
Woo! Dude, that's powerful. 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 So go back. I disrupted you, man. So Unlock the Block, you talked about, getting closer to God and then being inspired to go and do something. You're made by a creator. So why am I not creating? So talk about Unlock the Block, my man.
So really Unlock the Block was just a question. Like, how do I give back more value to the communities, especially my hometown? And so I just thought about, some of the greatest moments that I had growing up was like at block parties. Mm-hmm. So it was fun to see everybody come together in the community. And so I just, thought about the experience that I had at that moment, and I was working at C4 Sports Performance with my cousin, Sean Cooper. And I was just, operating classes for kids and stuff. Speed Camp was what came to mind at first, and we just built it around that. Everybody's not going to be, an athlete, but they still want to be, physically fit in a way to where they can be mobile and get the most out of their days, really energy and everything like that. Energy creates everything. Mm-hmm. And so pretty much, man, we started with the Speed Camp, and then we was like, man, we got to add more value. And so that's when we had brought in the talent show, because everybody, not going to want to take that athletic career path. It's people that, can sing, they can draw, they can be a poet, they can paint, all type of stuff. So that's what we did, man. We did that. It really brought out a lot of kids, gave them that platform to display their talents, get that love from the community, get that unity in the community. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much what we was preaching there. And like at each station, we had different principles that we would implement into the kids, so they're getting life skills as well. Loving others, appreciating life, showing love to your teammate, always attacking each and every day like it's another day of greatness. Like those type of principles, and those kids pick up well. So kids are you gotta feed it to them. I mean, they gonna eat it and consume it, but you gotta put it out there for them. So that's pretty much what we do. And then we was like, all right, we got the kids. So how do we get the adults involved? And so that's when it started to grow into the vendors and the interactive workshops, to where parents and business owners can come out, have a great time as well. So with the interactive workshops, that's a time where a parent can come out with their child in the community as well and be around their love and that energy, and still be growing in something active and something like they may have never even thought about or even took action towards. And so we provided for them, and like the community come out, they grow, we follow up with them. And so that's what we get into now, like the follow-up plan. So we got it down on how we get into the communities, how we provide value. We got that down. It's now like building the consumer technology.
Absolutely.
to stay up to date with them, and also just provide them more content, more value to where they can consume and proactively apply into their lives.
Now, and so how many Unlock the Block events have you all put on?
So we've done 3 in East Texas, in my hometown, Pittsburgh, and we did 1 in Durant, Oklahoma. So 4 total.
Wow, that's powerful. And is there any online presence in which people can go and see some of the images or videos or something from some of the Unlock the Block events that you all put on?
Yeah, I got the latest content protected, but they can go check out Unlock the Block on Facebook, or they can go to Kaymon Farmer 9 on Instagram. Just Kaymon Farmer on Facebook. I got it spread it out, but we're definitely, and like I was saying, that consumer technology, that's where that content is the new currency. And, we're definitely going to put that out.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to have your contact information where people can go and check links out and see some images of, some of the previous Unlock the Blocks. So, because that's a really dope thing, man. And really coming from your experience and some of the things you've gone through, you really are primed to really do this and really impact the lives of young folks. And so you talk about impacting young folks, but then there's this new venture as well that you're heavily involved in. And, you and I've talked a lot about it over the last year or so, called Double or More. And Double or More, you're a young millennial that's married, and you've created or conceptualized this platform here, which is really unique and really dope. So it's like Unlock the Block is helping and targeting the young folks in the community and their parents. Double Amore is really embracing that millennial married couple or that millennial folks or millennial people who are dating and all of that. Talk to us a little bit about this Double Amore platform that you recently have embarked upon.
Yeah, man, Double Amore. That's definitely. I know I'm not a father right now, but I'm definitely getting a demo of fatherhood with Double Amore.
Word,
that's our
word.
baby. That's
dig it.
Yeah, that's our baby. So that idea was birthed in us on our honeymoon, our cruise. We went on a cruise, and on the cruise they sit you with a lot of just random people on the ship with you. And so a lot of the people that was with us were couples, and they was millennial couples from across the nation as well. And so we just became well acquainted with them, just showing love. I'm showing love. My wife, she's definitely gonna show love and be a great value to the community as well. And so it was like we was in this great moment, but then again, you get to thinking about your legacy. And your legacy is what can you do for others. And so I started thinking about how do we replicate this this energy, this vibe, and offer it, to the people that's not on this ship at this moment. And then that's when we brought it up at the dinner table. I think it was like the third or fourth night, to the people that we was with, and we was like, "What y'all think about a young millennial community for couples to come together, have these type of moments, gain resources?" And the reactions was, it was enough to be like, all right, let's do it. And so probably about 4 months. This is back in 2017, April. 4 months, 5 months after that, because we had to unlock the block literally, a couple of weeks after the cruise. So I was still focused on that. So I gave it about 4 months. Then I reached out to one of my guys, really the only guy that I really knew in technology, Roman Herndon. And that just goes back to the power of connections. So I just told him the idea, man. His response was like, "Let's do it." So it was like, "Let's do it." So man, Double Amore has definitely been a great journey on the entrepreneur side that I can really help others with from the experience. One thing was, just getting out there with the money. So we had money saved. We invested $10K up front. But the only thing we didn't really know was where we wanted to take it. So I was too quick on the money.
Well, hold on. Before you get into the money, explain a little bit of what is Double Amore. Really explain a little bit about that. And then let's jump into, like you mentioned, lessons learned with the money and investment and the direction and all. Talk to us a little bit about what actually is Double Amore.
So Double Amore is a social community for couples where they gain resources that's easy to use, that helps them stay proactive in their relationships, and they're also connecting with couples in community groups. We'll have that as well, along with the way to build a residual income by inviting others to the community. So it's like a social network, but you're getting paid for your efforts. And that's pretty much what we got going, man. And it's a web-based platform. It's going to be soon an app. And we just bringing the community, unifying it, and bringing the resources and giving couples a safe haven to come to. And as the leader, this is definitely a great task, at hand. But it's been a difficult one as well. But we've definitely embraced the process.
So you mentioned it's a resource or a platform for couples. Now, are you all specifically targeting millennial couples? Is it open to everybody? It's what is you all's target focus? And then when you mention resources, what do you mean by that? What are some of the things that you're providing, or what some of the things that are available for the couples who participate in Double Amore?
So some things that they can get involved in is the community groups. Also, they will have a joint profile where they can post and update people on their relationship. They will have, they will have the Q Love A game. This is going to be a major one. It's a conversation starter game to where we'll have it in different categories, like married, we'll have dating, we'll have engaged, we'll have single. Then we have subcategories like Let's Talk. And so in the Let's Talk, they'll be asked a question, And then we pretty much walk them through like how to maximize that question as far as gaining the understanding of the answers that they may have gotten from their partner, or they can play it with themselves. And it works really well with groups as well. I know we've done some A&B testing with some groups, and it works really well with groups. Like that community, that village, everybody bouncing content off of each other, and everybody's consuming it and growing from it. And so that's one component that we got. Also, they can sign up for relationship enhancers through SMS text messages, where we'll be sending them just valuable content to inspire their relationship, and also strengthen it as well in easy to use ways, and just triggering different things in their mind that they probably hadn't thought of, or they probably have, and it's just a refresher. Just really depending on where they're at in their relationship. And so
question, like, and I guess a question for, the brothers that are listening, and the ladies too, because brothers and ladies listen. I know this is Black Fathers Now, but everybody listens. So where does this stuff come from? So like, how are you all coming up with questions, and how are you coming up with the games and the things? Are you all do you all have like some elder couples that are kind of walking you all through the process, or is it something that you all are just figuring out on your own, or some algorithm is, deriving it? How is all this thing coming together, and how are you all putting together these things that are enhancing, relationships for millennials and others as they go through life?
Yeah, definitely. We partner up with experts, industry experts. So like nonprofits, like people that got free content out there on the internet, like free courses, also free videos that's on YouTube that's really bringing value. The things that I learned from free books, we're getting all of that from online. And what I figured out now is partnering up with nonprofits and influencers that's already, got their audience and already provide value on the internet, to like invite them, paint the vision, cast the vision, get them on the team, and like everybody come together and build a community. And so we've been really resourceful and providing and organizing value.
That's good stuff, man. It's good stuff, man. So again, Double or More this is going to get released, like, I think probably early January-ish. And so by that time, because like, we're talking earlier than that, but by the time that this gets released, is there a place in which someone can go and visit and kind of get some information, kind of play around with Double or More right now?
Yeah, they can go to Double or More. That's AMOR.com. You can just read up on us and get a feel of the energy, and get more information about the movement. And we have you a part of it sooner than later.
I love it.
No, we just really want to add value to relationships, man. And we understand the foundation of having, that strong home, not only for just the couple, but for the kids. And, we got that in mind. So just being able to impact them kids, that's when you really got that true legacy, that, everlasting, kids.
But I'm going to tell you, you throw a really interesting point there. And again, the title of this is Black Fathers Now. But Black Fathers Now really is speaking to men, and it's about us becoming, and Black men specifically, about being the best versions of ourselves, right? It's really personal development, because as you become the best version of yourself, your relationships get better. Your fatherhood stuff gets better. Things with your wife gets better. Stuff on your job, your money, your health, all these things get better when you commit to becoming the best version of yourself. And a component of that is the relationship with your spouse. And I really, I'm a huge believer in how things are set up, and looking at, the straight divine order, right? It's you and your wife together first, even before the kids. I know it's hard to say that at times because we love our kids so much, but the reality is it's you and your wife first, and then the kids. And so to your point with Double or More, I really am a huge fan of what you all are creating, because a lot of times, I know you're not a dad yet, but once kids come into the mix, it literally becomes a humongous distraction to you. Right. And so, no, and it's funny, but it's not funny, because the reality is, it's like when you first get married, it's a honeymoon phase. It's just you and your wife. Then the kids come. And then sometimes, if you're not intentional about being you and your wife, the kid steps in, and then it becomes you and your kid, and then it's your wife and your kid, and then, oh, if there's any time left, you and your wife, maybe. But we end up pushing our relationship down the totem pole, and it just becomes the kid. Now, we love our children. We support our children. We would do anything in the world for our children, but we must first love our spouse and keep our spouse top of line, even when the kids come into the mix. So I applaud what you all are doing, especially if you're targeting young couples to build that strength prior to kids getting in the mix. Because if you don't build that strength and you don't have that strong foundation with really deep roots, the moment that the kids come in the mix, that thing that was not already strong, that doesn't really have roots, or those roots are kind of shallow, that kid's going to come and kick that joker down, and it's going to be challenging. And literally, I mean, you don't know behind the scenes the conversations that I have with various brothers. And a lot of times we get into talking about this and talking about that. And a lot of it really stems from the fact that a lot of us don't take enough time really investing in our spouse initially, taking that time to build that relationship, build that love, build that intimacy. When I say intimacy, I ain't talking about knocking the boots. Yeah, that's part of it. But the intimacy part of it, right? Like really building and growing together and collectively building that strong foundation, because stuff gets hard. Like, I mean, even with a great family and great situations and healthy folks and all of that, it's still hard, right? Because you're dealing with personalities and all of that. And so you and your wife got to stay tight. And so what you're doing with Double or More, brother, kudos.
Appreciate that, man. And I think it's really, being aware of that. Like, I'm really, wanting to invest as much time into my wife and to my kids, to where I know, like, I'm young. Like, we need to build something that's going to work for us instead of, us working for it. And I'm speaking from a financial standpoint, like building residual income, like a SaaS software company. Like those things right there, in the time that we're in with this digital revolution, like as a young millennial, I'm very thankful to be aware of the opportunity that we have. And I'm very thankful to be able to connect with people that believe in the vision, that can encourage and, help raise this baby.
That's real. And literally, man, I mean, you and I've talked for over the last year and a half about it. So, I'm already bought in, but, yeah, we're there already, but it's just like, but I want the brothers to hear that, man. Yeah. It's such an important thing for us to invest in our relationship with our spouse. True. It is extremely important. I mean, now some of us are already down the road and we have kids, but you know what? Even then, we have to stop and invest in our spouse, because we must have a strong foundation if we expect our families to succeed and be the best that we all can be. So again, man, y'all visit doubleamore.com, AMOR.com, to definitely get more information, to register, and to learn a little bit more about what Kaymon has going on with this particular platform, man. That's some dope stuff, man. Dope stuff. And so to that point, is there anything else that you like to kind of share with the brothers with the Black Fathers Now family?
I would definitely say with the Double or More, like it's definitely worth it. Just really having that village is powerful, and that's what you're doing. And so that is something that I would love to connect with people on that platform, and really just bring value to their relationships. That's powerful in their businesses as well. And so I know that, the power of village definitely brings in connections and resources. And so if it's people out there that, is hearing this and want to be a part of whatever we got going as far as a book, speaking, technology, apps, marketing, community events, all of that, startups, let's connect. You can connect with me at KaymonFarmer9. That's on Instagram, and doubleamore.com. And you can also go to KaymonFarmer.com. I have a great blog on there. It's called How to Thrive with the Workaholic Spouse.
So you said KaymonFarmer.com?
Yeah, KaymonFarmer.com. KAYMON Farmer.com.
Okay. So KaymonFarmer.com, KaymonFarmer9 on Instagram, and definitely doubleormore.com. And from there, we can we can catch everything about Kaymon Farmer, learn a little bit about you, connect with you, link up, bring you in to speak, get your books on. If you got some venture capital or whatever you want to invest in Double or More, get at your boy, get at him. All of that, make sure to reach out. DoubleOrMore.com, KaymonFarmer.com, and then on Instagram, follow KaymonFarmer9 on Instagram. But I'll have all of that in the show notes, fellas. So don't worry about it. Just click in the show notes. So if you're listening or watching on YouTube or Instagram or on Facebook or what you call them, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, any of those places, make sure to look in the show notes because the links to connect with Kaymon will be there. So make sure to link up with him.
Yeah, it's most definitely a great time, man. It really is going into 2020. I know.
Well, we're releasing this, and this is actually going to release in 2020. We're recording 2019, but we got what you're saying.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's a great time to be here.
I feel like that was, however I said it, I still need to, say that because, it's written like, for 400 years we will be in, these, times, but 400 years and like, human time it would be up, after this year. But I understand that God's time is different. But like as a young man that, really is a believer, like it's psychologically, man, it does something to you to where you're just so thankful for where you're at in life. And I'm just thankful to be able to share my story, my life, the ventures, the way, God has taken over. And it's definitely been, like a stock up and down. It's definitely been up and down, tough times. There's no excuses though. Like I'm here to get better each and every day intentionally. And, just ready to take in, whatever knowledge and whatever life throws at me, really ready to go through that experience and just get the most from it and then just apply that wisdom throughout my life and then just duplicate it.
You said it's been tough times. So if you take off the word tough, what do you have just left?
Times. There's been times.
So because, it's interesting. Somebody posted something recently talking about how life throws us stumbling blocks, right? And what's interesting about that, when I really thought about it, is the concept of you're not getting thrown stumbling blocks. You're getting thrown blocks. You're getting thrown blocks. You're not getting thrown stumbling blocks. You're getting thrown blocks. Those blocks, yes, some people stumble over them, right? Some people trip on them. Some people step over them. Some people actually grab the blocks that are being thrown and use them to build a structure.
That is true.
So it's the whole notion of times, right? So yes, we all have times. Some of the times are tough. Some of them are great. Some of them are challenging. Some of them are easy. Some of them are difficult. And we got all these things. They're times. We just add that other part onto it based off of our perspective. You know what I'm saying? And so to that point, we're going to go through times, some good, some bad, whatever. But nonetheless, we go through times.
That is true.
At the end of the day, that's life, though, brother.
That is. I'm glad you said that because Tony Robbins has said that as well. We're definitely going to go through those times. It's just the perspective you have of those times. And I even had put that in the book, Another Day of Greatness. The way you look at that perspective, or the way you look at that situation in your life is how you're gonna come out of it. And so I'm glad you stopped me in my tracks again. Say it's tough times, it's times. Times gonna always be here. We just got to get better and continue to stick to our core and keep the people around us that encourage us, and we encourage them as well.
Man, that's what it's all about, because you mentioned it earlier. It's all about connections. It's all about community. It's all about that village. It ain't what you know or who you know. It's who knows you. But then the question is, what are you going to do with it? When you get an opportunity, you going to barbecue or you going to mildew, right? You know what I mean? Got to do something with it, man. So, dude, man, I know you're busy and everything. So I really want to thank you for taking time to share with the Black Fathers Now family, share your journey, share your story, share these inspirational nuggets that folks can really take and impart into their life and, do something with it, man. Make sure to visit doubleormore.com. Check out what Kaymon has created. I mean, he and his team, they're really doing some amazing things. Visit KaymonFarmer.com. Also follow KaymonFarmer9 on Instagram. And the brother's an author. He's a speaker. All of that. Just literally check him out. You're going to be like, yeah, this brother's doing a doggone thing, right? And so make sure to follow him. But when you do follow him, make sure to let him know that you heard about him on Black Fathers Now. This is my guy. So we're going to make sure that he does his thing. And one of my missions in life is to make sure the right people win and win big in life. Kaymon is one of those right men. So we want to make sure that he wins and wins big. So however we can support, fellas, y'all get behind this brother and help him to succeed because he's going places. All right?
I greatly appreciate that, man. I really do.
No doubt. No doubt. Now, fellas, again, reach out to Kaymon Farmer. All his information is in the show notes. Connect, follow him, let him know you heard about him on Black Fathers Now. But then, as always, visit blackfathersnow.com. Subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, on Amazon Alexa. Ask it to play Black Fathers Now, the podcast. Whatever. Any way you listen to podcasts, find a way to do it. Download, subscribe, share this thing out because there are a lot of brothers that need to hear this type of conversation because we want us to be the best version of us that us can be. That. Oh, man. And as always, make sure to follow on social media, Black Fathers Now, on Facebook, Instagram, on Twitter. Again, share. If you're interested in having me come out and speak, again, visit blackfathersnow.com or you can visit IamMikeDorsey.com. Again, this is Mike Dorsey, Mr. Double Down on You. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.
Peace.
Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit blackfathersnow.com as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.